Good afternoon, Salem, and welcome to Season 5 of SHS Today. I'm Lindsay Jones, and joining me at the news desk today is Alfredo Tacuna.
This week, we'll take a look at the coronavirus, its effects on students, sports, and school, recent movie updates, conspiracy theories, and much more. But first, Katie Jamer and Ethan Bonerator caught up with Salem High School's principal Collier to get an update on some of this year's major changes and safety precautions caused by the infamous COVID-19.
So hi, I'm Mrs. Collier. I'm the principal of Salem High School. So I don't know if you recall, but our original plan was to release students by wings. We thought that would, having half the students in the hallways in the building would be a good idea, but we quickly received a couple of we received feedback from staff, and actually I got an email from students, and we were observing that we would release one hallway, but we were releasing everyone in that hallway. It was very crowded, so we then changed to, and I think it was only the third day of school, we changed to releasing even classrooms and then odd classrooms, so that in any one hallway, it was half the number of students. Still throughout the building, it was the same number, but they were distributed more evenly among hallways by doing even odd. So we think that's helping. So students can, we're encouraging students to get dropped off by their parents. We gave our maximum number of parking passes, but the building is open at 6 a.m. in the morning, so students are able to get dropped off early. If they want, they can get breakfast, they can do work, they can, hang out with their friends. So, and this was a question. So if I am sitting at my desk and I'm looking into the shield, not fully left or fully right, but if I'm just looking into the shield, I can take my mask off. Again, if I turn to talk to somebody, I'm supposed to put my mask back on. If I'm leaning back in my chair and I'm not looking into the shield, the mask has to go on. And one other thing I just want to make a note, I keep tugging my mask here because I feel it slipping down. Masks have to be covering the mouth and the nose. Students have done a great job I think they've done a fantastic job in the building, and the few kids I give reminders to, they're very respectful. They recognize they need to put their mask on. Wearing the masks are really key. So keeping those on, hand washing, don't come to school if you're sick. Don't try and, you think, oh, I have a test, I have to go just to get through that test. Don't do that. You can make it up. But I think the thing is, being safe outside of school too, that's important, because whatever happens outside of school is going to be brought into school.
As a student myself, I am very excited to be back in the classroom and relieved for the new safety policies that keep us safe while back.
I agree. It's definitely good to be back in person for the new year. Moving into sports, new protocols were issued here at Salem High due to the virus. Sarah Moran and Evan Bixby spoke with our athletic director, Scott Insigna, to get some more details about these new changes. So, what are sports like mid-pandemic?
So it's obviously drastically changed it because of the amount of people that we can have in one place at one time, the amount of practice time that we can get in those times. Schedules are completely changed. We have 26 teams over 7 varsity sports, inside and outside. We have the same protocols in the building we do outside the building. Distance learning kids have to follow the same protocols once they get here. Well, when kids use the weight room, we have questions that we ask every kid. We take their temperature, we hand sanitize, then they go do their workout. They glove up, mask up again, and they clean every single item that they touched. There are some other sports that are a little bit different. For instance, golf and cross country, very individualized sports. The thing that we've done is when we play a week's worth of sports, it is that team and us at another school. They are impacted by teams who are able to play. We have done regionalizing of schedules to cut down on A, the contact, B, the transportation, and C, the amount of time that people spend doing all those things. Department of Health and Human Services is one that really makes that call. It's not a call that I have to make. The plan for other schools, if it stops other schools, much like it stopped Wyndham from playing, we still have the latitude to schedule games and activities with schools that are still in our region because the playoffs have changed. The playoffs aren't based on records anymore. They are open tournaments, which means it doesn't matter who you play and how many times you play. There'll be a different process for that postseason if we actually get to it.
The NBA is back with a multitude of changes for the playoffs. They have created a personal bubble for all the players and coaches to continue their games in a safe manner. Angel Connor and I asked kids around Salem High what they think about the bubble. On the night of Wednesday, March 11, 2020, a night that all NBA fans will never forget, the regular season got suspended due to Utah Jazz player Rudy Gobert testing positive for COVID-19. The Monday prior, the Jazz had a morning practice. Post-practice, Gobert headed to the booth and answered some questions. After the interview, he jokingly touched all the mics and seemed to not take the coronavirus seriously. Fans were in shock, questioning how the NBA season was going to return. That night, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver stated, the NBA was suspended out of the process of caution. Fans and players were confident that the NBA would figure something out. Philadelphia 76ers general manager Elton Brand was confident in the NBA, as quoted, "We believe in the leadership of the league." After 3 months off, the NBA bubble, where all NBA players will play their games in Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, has been created. The NBA teams would be stuck in this bubble for at least 1 to 3 months. Players were not happy with the idea of the bubble being created due to the virus. For an example, Philadelphia 76ers player Joel Embiid, who raised some eyebrows when entering, as he was not a big fan of the idea of restarting the season. Although it's always great to have basketball back, fans questioned if the games will be fun to watch. We asked NBA fans around Salem High School about what they think about the bubble.
I mean, it's crazy. Coming from a lot of fans where they get the energy to being in a bubble with nobody and playing sloppy. And it's just like the energy from the fans is what creates the energy on the court, to be honest with you.
I'm glad basketball's back. So it's pretty much everything. There's nothing I really don't like about it, except the drama.
Pretty good. I like how they brought basketball back, even though it wasn't supposed to happen. COVID kind of ruined what we had going. The Lakers were going to win it all.
Even though the NBA is different in many ways at the moment, we are still getting some entertaining play from the bubble. For an example, Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns go 8-0, but still unfortunately do not make the playoffs. Damian Lillard defeats all odds and seals the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Many memories will live on in this unique NBA season, and by the end of October, one team will cross the finish line and be crowned with a Larry O'Brien trophy. Being an NBA fan at the moment is amazing. Lots of competitive basketball and fans eager for its return. I personally got the Celtics winning it all this year.
On a lighter note, Nina Galvez is back with Films in a Flash, bringing updates on movie theaters, the movie industry, and where they are now.
Hey movie fans, and welcome to Films in a Flash. I'm Nina Galvez, and today we are going to be talking about the recent changes in the movie industry and a possible threat to movie theaters. First things first, hope you all are being safe with these new things going on. But anyways, let's get started. The first ever movie theater was opened in 1905 and was a massive hit with audiences at the time, since mainstream media was very uncommon. Everyone wanted tickets to see movies in these brand new spaces that were created just for their entertainment. Fast forward a couple hundred years and we could now watch movies from our comfort of our own couch, and not just movies but TV shows as well. This led to a rapid decline in the amount of patrons that went to movie theaters, as people didn't see the sense of going to them if they could just watch these movies at home. Since that's settled, let's discuss money. When a new movie is put in a theater, that theater gets a percentage of money from the developer of that movie. For example, Disney would give 45% of funds from that movie to AMC for hosting their movie. Then that percentage would slowly go down when the movie becomes less popular. That's why movie theaters make room by getting rid of old movies for more popular ones. More money. Now that I explained that, let's talk about the threat, COVID. No one has gone to movie theaters since the pandemic that I know of, but believe it or not, that isn't a movie theater's main threat. It's the movies Trolls World Tour, Scoob, and Mulan that the movie industry should really be scared of right now. What a combination, right? Well, despite these three movies having nothing in common for plots, all three movies came out during COVID on their respective movie platforms. Mulan, Disney+, Scoob, Video on Demand, Trolls World Tour, Amazon. These movies, in their own respective right, were very successful. And you know what movie manufacturers got in funds? 100% of it. See the problem? Companies now know that they could skip the movie theater step entirely and still have a successful film while keeping 100% of the money they make. Due to these changes, movie theaters are going to have to adapt to make their experience more worthwhile. While there are movie theater people that like the experience or people that prefer to watch at home, they're going to have to change. And if they don't, I fear that movie theaters are going to become a thing of the past. Someone around here is playing Jumanji, and whether movie theaters get trampled by elephants or not is up to us. Anyways, that's been Films in a Flash. Stay safe out there.
Thanks, Nina. Now onto the well-known app as TikTok is being accused of having many privacy issues. SHS's very own Alyssa and Amy go deeper into this to figure out if TikTok users should be worried about using this app.
In early August, Trump issued an executive order concerning the fate of TikTok. It must be bought out by an American company. If not, the app will be banned in the US the week of September 20th. So why hasn't it been bought out yet? At the beginning of the year, TikTok raised suspicion, allowing hackers to manipulate users' data and reveal personal info. The app collects data like your name and email. They also have third-party add-on apps like Instagram and Facebook. Other data the app collects are IP address, unique device identifiers, browse and search history, geological related data, and cookies.
No, I don't think it should be banned, but I definitely understand trying to make especially younger people more aware of the issues with the privacy concerns.
No, because that's just like wrong. It feels like you should not be able to do that.
I think it should be modified. I know there are interested U.S. Parties that are interested in purchasing it, which China's not too happy about. But I think probably to preserve people's privacy, I think there has to be a modification of it.
I don't know if it should be banned, but I think it's disingenuous in having it out because it's sucking your data down, and you should be in control of your own data.
I am aware of the privacy issues, and we've been told not to use it in classrooms because we don't want students having to download it and give up all their information.
I am very aware of it. I hear it on the news all the time, and I know it's an international incident almost between China and the U.S.
I mean, I've heard people talking about it, but like, if China has my info, I don't really care. Like, go nuts. I don't know what you're gonna do with that. It's honestly like one of my only forms of happiness at this point. It's that and my dogs.
Microsoft is predicted to buy out TikTok, as there's been a deal negotiated between them and ByteDance. If not bought out by an American company, Trump will ban the app in the US the week of September 20th. Will TikTok survive? Only time will tell.
Wow, there's a lot more to TikTok than it seems.
Certainly. I wonder how all of this controversy will play out. College hopefuls and freshmen have also had to adapt to a new normal. Now, to get some student perspectives on this unusual school year and learn about how it has impacted those entering college, Jenna McDowell and I met with some students and alumni of Salem High to find out.
It is clear that COVID has affected almost every aspect of high school. But what about life after SHS? How have seniors preparing for college needed to adapt during this unusual time, and how have college freshmen dealt with the beginning of college with all of this uncertainty?
Here at Salem High, we talked to current seniors to find out how this pandemic has affected the college application process.
I feel like COVID has made it a little bit more difficult in the way that it's like everyone's like trying to scramble around to find out what they're supposed to be doing, but it's also easier because of how like all the test scores aren't being taken at most schools. And yeah, overall I feel like it's probably going to be easier for our class, but it still is hard to find some resources.
It's made it difficult, definitely. All this online stuff, like I've signed up for SATs twice already and I still haven't taken mine. I don't know when I'm going to take mine, and I planned on taking it like twice just to like get a good score and see how I could do, but right now it's just, it looks like it's not going to work out. I wanted to visit colleges just to see the vibe of the colleges. Colleges are not doing on-campus visits, and when it's online you can't really tell whether it's a fit for you or not. So those two things definitely made it harder to see which colleges I want to apply for and just to apply for colleges in general.
Now that we've checked in on some future college students, let's take a look at current SHS graduates to find out how their respective schools are handling the virus. We interviewed Alexis Robotham at UNH and Emma Liptrap at Syracuse to hear their experiences.
Hi, my name is Emma Liptrap and I'm a freshman at Syracuse University.
Hello, my name is Alexis Robotham and I am currently a freshman at the University of New Hampshire, majoring in Human Development and Family Studies.
So before coming on campus this fall, we had to take some precautions. So before we got here, we had to take a COVID test, and they also split the move-in over a week to minimize the people in the dorm at once. Some other changes that have been made around campus are that masks are required everywhere. They give us a COVID test every few weeks, and every single day you have to fill out a daily health form. Also, classes are hybrid, so some of your classes are in person, some of them are online, and then sometimes you go one day in person, one day online, and switch. Any big events you have to make reservations too, so they can also limit the number of people.
UNH, I'm proud to say, is allowing students to come on campus for the fall semester. I'm currently living in a dorm on campus, and I have 3 classes online and 1 in person. We're all taking hybrid classes, and it's a lot to get used to, but it's awesome to be able to be on campus and have the full college experience like I've always wanted. Precautions that UNH took before classes began, they made sure that we all had to have a positive test result before we came on campus within 8 days of our move-in date. We have to self-test ourselves twice a week, so I have to self-test myself on Wednesdays and Saturdays and turn them in. There's drop boxes all around campus where we have to turn in our test results. We're all wearing masks on campus. Everywhere we are in public, even if you're in the halls of your dorm, even if you're in the bathroom, you have to be wearing a mask at all times. They're only allowing singles and doubles this year. Additionally, all of the tables inside have barriers, and all of the meals in the dining halls are grab and go as well. It has definitely been a change of life here, but I'm very happy to be continuing my education in a very safe environment, and I'm happy that I'm able to get this college experience even though we're in very uncertain times.
With the coronavirus having us stuck in our homes for more than usual, Andrew and Taylor go around the halls of Salem High to ask students what it was like to be quarantined.
My reaction immediately was nervous. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I was anxious about how I was going to turn lessons that I already planned for in-person to remote. So there was a lot of anxiety at the beginning. So when I found out over the summer in June, I was part of a group that came in to kind of plan our in-person back to school plans. So I was actually relieved that we had a plan in place. I know a lot of districts kind of went back and forth and changed their models a lot right up until the end. So I was glad that we had a plan in place, and I wanted to come back in person. This is where I wanted to be, so I was very relieved that we did it that way. I watched a lot of Netflix. You name it, I watched it. I baked a lot. I went on a lot of walks with my kids. We live near the beach, so we spent a lot of time on the beach, so that was really nice. So a lot of family time. That's good. Yeah.
I didn't.
No, what I did was I tried to make a schedule for myself, and every morning I would wake up at around the same time, do my classes as best as I could, took the breaks when needed, and then went to lunch when needed, and then went back.
No, it's very hard to learn over like the internet.
Oh yeah, same for me. I liked in-person and hands-on experience with the teachers and being able to talk to them. I didn't really like the remote.
Honestly, I was pretty okay with it. I was like, hey, it's basically summer now. You know, gotta cook a couple of times.
I was really sad when I found out because I kind of liked school and I liked going to the teaching class I had, and I really was excited to, you know, be with the students until like my final years at Sound Live. So.
Quarantine is something I've never thought would happen. However, it was nice to gather and take some time to myself and my family.
The coronavirus outbreak affected everyday people in countless ways. Michael West talked to reading specialist Sue Nolan from Wyndham High School to see how their lives changed when faced to adjust to a new normal.
So when we first found out about COVID-19, I didn't think too much about it because, you know, in my lifetime, there have been other scares like that with SARS and swine flu. So I didn't think too much about it until I started seeing the reports out of New York. I took it very seriously because I have asthma, and also my elderly mother lives with us. So from as soon as school closed, we did a lockdown, and we basically, except for work, been doing that ever since. So no restaurants. We haven't got together with friends and family except through Zoom or, you know, outside, socially distant. And even that, not too much. So it really has affected a lot in terms of groups and getting together with people. For my daughter, she graduated in May, June. It had a big impact. She didn't have prom. Graduation was postponed, and then it just sort of wasn't the same. We didn't have the graduation parties and all of that. So everything, our lives have kind of, we're looking at it as we're on hold for a bit until we get a vaccine, until things start to kind of calm down. I'm very happy to see that the hospitals seem to be really on top of how to manage the symptoms instead of that high number of deaths that we saw initially. You know, the medical field is really learning how to treat this illness, and, you know, and how it's transmitted as well, and passing along that information. So I think one of the things that I do is I, you know, very gently, because it is a hot topic, just try to let people know that it's important for us to take care of each other, to look out for each other. Even if you are not afraid of getting it, you don't know who's around that might be really impacted by it. So wearing masks, that's such a little thing. It's a piece of cloth on the face. It's so, you know, such a small sacrifice. And it's one of those things that you get used to as well. So I think that it's definitely impacted the way we look at the social contract, personal responsibility, and hopefully we all come to an understanding. But, you know, we will get through this. It's temporary. In time, it's probably going to be like a flu where we get immunization every year. But in the meantime, we just have to look out for each other. Okay.
COVID-19 is a very serious topic. It has changed so many of our lives in ways we never expected. So make sure you all sanitize your hands and keep practicing social distancing.
Lastly, it's a brand new season, which means we have more creative conspiracy theories with Robert Ohms. This week, he will dive into the Mandela Effect and get students' opinions around the school about this topic.
Hello and welcome to the Dark World of Conspiracies, and yes, it's been a while. In this episode, to start things back off, we're going to be revisiting an old topic that we discussed in the past, and that is the Mandela Effect. It's been Disclaimer before we begin, everything in this is just theories, not fact. Don't take anything as is as fact. And now let's begin. To re-explain briefly, just because it's been a while, the Mandela Effect by definition is a phenomenon in which a large segment of the population misremembers a significant event or shares the memory of an event that did not actually occur, also known as a false memory. The reason why this is interesting is this is not just a small group, this is a large population remembering something that actually didn't happen or misremembering something that did happen. The term was named after Nelson Mandela, who died in 2013 due to a respiratory infection. But a big amount of the population actually remembers him dying in the 1980s during his imprisonment. Now you might be asking yourself, why are you discussing a topic you've already discussed before? Well, to make this a little more interesting, I decided for this episode we're going to actually go and interview people about this topic.
Yes, I know what it is. I do know what the Mandela Effect is. I do know what the Mandela Effect is, but like, it's just kind of something that I kind of just know. But I first heard about it years ago, and I think it was from a YouTube video, probably a conspiracy video, and that's why I first heard of it.
I heard about it in like 7th grade from Shane Dawson on his conspiracy theory videos.
I first heard about it on Shane Dawson's YouTube channel. I don't think so.
I remember things being like a certain way, and then next thing you know, like it's like completely different. Like the Berenstain Bears is like spelled different now. In Kit Kat, I remember it having like a dash.
I mean, it is kind of weird how some things, a whole group of people just decided to think that it was one way, and then everybody else says that it's not. But I think it's just because like passing down information can sometimes like by ear can get misheard, like the telephone game, and then it just kind of ends up where it ends up, and I think that's how it comes to be. It's half and half because people are kind of dumb. So at the same time it could be real though. I just think everyone's stupid. Honestly. I don't think that we went into multiple dimension. I don't think anything really changed. I just think everyone misheard things that were easily misheard or could be misread.
That's all we have for this segment, and just remember, don't believe everything you see.
Thanks for tuning in for a brand new season of SHS Today. That's all we have for you this time.
We'll see you next week. Stay safe, Salem.
Hey, Mom.